Hello, this is Bunting with your usual functional mathematics at level 2, section 2, measuring. And today's lesson is on units. This is level 2 of section 2. If you remember, we covered units while we were doing level 1 course. This is an extension on units, and in this lesson we'll cover the following: the meaning of measures and units, which is an extension on what we already know; units of length, weight and capacity; conversion factors to convert between units; conversion with imperial units; conversion between other units; and conversion graphs. The keywords you'll be familiar with are units, measures, length, weight, capacity, conversion, imperial units, and metric units. These are all keywords that we need to know, which add context to the topic of units. Measures have units. Things that you measure have units. For example, meters to add meaning to distance, or grams to add meaning to weight. They're really important. For example, you can't just say the distance is 4. For what? You need to know if it's 4 meters, 4 kilometers, 4 miles, etc. There are two types of units. You have metric and you have imperial units. You'll need to be able to use both. Let's look at units of length. Length is how long something is. Metric units for length are millimeters, centimeters, meters, and kilometers, as you can see on the right there, for the metric units. 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeters. 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters, and 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. And then you also have the imperial units, which you see on the right, which is in yard, feet and inches, and miles. And then 1 foot is equal to 12 inches, 1 yard is equal to 3 feet, and 1 mile is equal to 1,760 yards. Length can be measured in either metric or imperial unit. For example, a football pitch may have a length of 90 meters. What is 90 meters? Which is about 98 yards. You'll be surprised, in the old days we were expected to learn all of these things by heart. Units of weight. Weight is how heavy something is. Metric units for weight are grams and kilograms. As you can see on the right, that's the conversion. 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. Imperial units for weight are ounces, pounds and stones. So 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces and 1 stone is equal to 14 pounds. Weight can be measured either metric or imperial units. For example, a 7-pound baby weighs about 3.2 kilograms. We can also look at units of capacity. Capacity is how much something will hold. Metric units for capacity is milliliters, which is represented by ml, and liters, or L, and that is the conversion. Imperial units for capacity are fluid ounces, pints, and gallons, and you can see the conversion there. Capacity can be measured in either metric or imperial units. For example, a 1 liter bottle holds about 1.7 pints. Let's look at conversion factors to convert between units. To convert between units, you need to multiply or divide by some number. This number is called the conversion factor. For example, and the little boxes there, 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meter. To convert between kilometers and meters, the conversion factor is 1,000. On the right, 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. To convert between feet and inches, the conversion factor is 12. Whatever units you're using, the method is always the same. You find the conversion factor. You decide whether to multiply or to divide, and then you work out the answer. For metric or metric conversion, the conversion factor will be 10, 100, or 1,000. You'll need to remember these. You won't be told in an exam or in a test. Factors of metric conversion. Example, what is 2.7 kilometers in meters? Write out the information that you know. 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. So the conversion factor is 1,000. You can see the binder on the box there on the right. A kilometer is longer than a meter. So to go from kilometers to meters, the number should get bigger. So you need to multiply. Work out your answer. So 2.7 kilometers times 1,000 is equal to 2,700 meters. Practice question set 1. How many meters are in 7.5 kilometers? What is 6,400 grams in kilograms? What is 560 milliliters in liters? And those are your answers. Question 1, 7,500 meters. Question 2, 6.4 kilograms. And then question 3, 0.56 liters. Conversion with imperial units, that is pounds, ounces, and so on. If you have to convert imperial units, you'll be told the conversion factor. You could get imperial to imperial conversions as well as conversions between imperial and metric units. Example 1. 1 gallon is equal to 8 pints. How many pints are in 13 gallons? You're told that 1 gallon is 8 pints, so the conversion factor is 8. A gallon is more than a pint, so to go from gallons to pint, you need to multiply. That is 13 times 8, which is equal to 104 pints. Example 2. 1 ounce is equal to 28 grams. How many ounces are in 140 grams? Now this is converting from imperial to metric. So you're told that 1 ounce is equal to 28 grams. So the conversion factor is 28. 1 gram is less than an ounce. So to go from grams to ounce, the conversion factor, you have to divide. So 140 grams is 140 divided by 28, which is equal to 5 ounces. Practice questions set 2. 1 kilogram is equal to 2.2 pounds. How many pounds are in 15 kilograms? Question 2. 1 kilometer is equal to 0.62 miles. Sally has cycled 10 kilometers. How far has she cycled in miles? Question 3. 1 liter is 35 fluid ounces. Joe needs 7 fluid ounces of milk for a recipe. How many liters of milk does Joe need? B. How many milliliters of milk does Joe need? And question 4. 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. 1 inch is equal to 2.4 centimeters. Chris is 6 foot and 3 inches tall. How tall is Chris in centimeters? And that's your answer. Question 1, 33 pounds. Question 2, 6.2 miles. Question 3, 0.2 liters. B, 200 milliliters. And question 4, 190.5 centimeters. He's quite tall. Conversion between other units. You can convert between any unit so long as you know the conversion factors, so that's important. For example, you can convert between currencies. If the exchange rate between pounds and euros is 1.13, then the conversion factor is 1.13. Another example is converting between milliliters and cubic centimeters. 1 milliliter is equal to 1 centimeter cubed. So the conversion factor is 1. Example: Fiona visits Japan and returns home with 12,000 Japanese yen. How much is this in pounds? The exchange rate is 1 pound equals 137.35 yen. The conversion rate is 137.35. So 1 yen is worth less than a pound. So to go from yen to pound, the number should be smaller, so you need to divide. You divide 12,000 yen, which is equal to 137.35 pounds. So you will have 87 pounds 368 pence. You need to round that up, so you'll have 87 pounds 37p. Practice question set 3. A British pound is worth 1.2 US dollars. The picker paid $450 for a flight. How much is this in pounds? Question 2. Annie has an empty jug with a capacity of 500 centimeter cubed. He pours water into the jug, stopping when the water takes up 3/4 of the jug's capacity. How many milliliters of water did Amy pour into the jug? And then you're given 1 centimeter cube is equal to 1 milliliters. Question 3. Jess has a swimming pool in the shape of a cuboid. It is 4 meters wide and 9 meters long and has a depth of 2 meters. And you see the shape on your right there. How many gallons of water are needed to fill Jess's pool? Answers to practice questions set 3. Question 1 answer, 375 pounds. Question 2 answer, 375 mil. And question 3 answer, 16,000 gallons. And then you have to know about conversion graphs, which helps you to do these conversions visually. Here is a conversion graph for miles and kilometers. How many miles is 8 kilometers? You can use the conversion graph to find your answer. Find 8 kilometers on the horizontal axis and move up until you hit the line. Go directly across to the vertical axis. The value on the vertical axis is the answer, which is 5 miles. You'll see the dotted lines on the graph there, which helps you. Question 2. How many kilometers is 3 miles? Again, find 3 kilometers on the vertical axis, move across until you get to the line. Go straight down to the horizontal axis. And the value on the horizontal axis is the answer, so it's roughly 5 kilometers. And your practice question set 4. Use the conversion graph in the example above to answer these questions. This is pretty straightforward. What is 6.5 kilometers in miles? And B, which length is greater, 7 miles or 11 miles? Question 2. The graph on the right can be used to convert between pounds and kilograms. What is 2.2 pounds in kilograms? What is 1.8 kilograms in pounds? Greg is baking bread. He needs to weigh 2 kilograms of flour, but his scale only shows pounds. How many pounds of flour should he weigh? You can still use the graph to find your answer to that question. And your answers: question 1A, 4 miles, B, 7 miles, and then question 2, A, 1 kilogram, B, 4 pounds, and then C, 4.4 pounds. Now I expect you to attempt all 4 practice sets of questions. Attempt them first without looking. Check your answers. If they're right, celebrate, please. If you're not right on all of them, it's no big deal. You learn from your mistakes. Just make sure you check what the answer is, work backwards until you get it right, and learn from that mistake. So to summarize, we have covered the following topics on units. We know the meaning of measures and units. Okay, it's what we read on the equipment we're using that tells us the information we want to know. So units add sense to what we're doing or to the information we get. We've also covered units of length, weight, and capacity. We know conversion factors, which we use to convert between units. We know about conversion with imperial units. We know conversion between other units. And then we now know how to use conversion graphs. Finally, we know that unit provides the information we get from measuring. Thank you. I'll see you next week. Take care of yourselves.